Greetings, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm starting to feel a little bit better, but I just am not where I want to be yet. And I might be trying my nebulizer tomorrow. If that is not going to work, probably going to go into, what is it called? I can't think what that's called. Not the emergency room, but the, where you go to see the doctor. Like the walk-in clinics. Of course, we're heading on a weekend, so of course. I wanted to talk about following your intuition. And how I've learned in life that when something feels off, whether it is about a person, about a situation in general, an environment, something someone says, you have to follow your intuition. Could be shown to you in some type of clairvoyance, claircognizance, which is like a very clear knowing. There's a lot of clairs. But you have to follow whatever your intuition's telling you to follow. And anyone that has been in a situation where you had an intuitive feeling or a gut instinct, I personally think gut instinct and intuition are a little bit different. Anyways, if you felt intuition, like an intuitive feeling, or a gut instinct about something, and you didn't follow it, you usually pay dearly. Some people have lost their lives because they didn't follow their intuition. So, and you have to do things to fine-tune your abilities. I personally work on it all the time. Before I had my breast cancer diagnosis, I didn't like to use a lot of chemicals. And I still don't, honestly, but there's so many things that you can do to take care of your body and your mind, your environment, that will help to sharpen your intuition. I personally end up being alone a lot, unfortunately. But I always feel like you will always find your tribe. And any type of friendship, companionship, acquaintanceship, it should never be a show. It should never be conditional. It should never make you feel bad. Should never pressure you. Should never ask you to conform. To obey. To acquiesce. None of those things. I have a fairly high self-esteem, aside from the fact of no longer having my breast. I mean, that's just something I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my time on Earth. But I really, truly feel like whomever I'm around, it's an honor and a privilege to be my friend, to be in my presence. And I don't say that from a form of arrogance or being full of myself, thinking that I'm better than anyone. You have to know your worth. If you don't know what your worth is, you will continue to attract people who attempt to devalue you. I mean, how many of us here, myself included, have done things in their life in which they had a bad feeling about something? Maybe it was a job, a boyfriend, something their brother or cousin said. It made the hairs on your neck go up. You knew something was off. And you didn't listen to your intuition. It never goes well. I feel the graves are full of people who did not follow their intuition. You can tell a lot about a person, and as I always say, including yourself, based on the things that person says. And as cliche as it is, actions as well. And again, follow your intuition and think about, what is that person's motive? What are they trying to accomplish? If it's self-serving, self-aggrandizing, selfish, self-absorbed, mean-spirited, fake, inauthentic, cruel, dishonest, should be a problem. There's something that happened in my life not too long ago. I'm going to share it with you guys one day. I don't want to share it right now. But I always feel like even though you might have your sights or your hopes set on a person being your friend or being the caring brother or whatever the story is. When they slip up and do something heinous, unjust, cruel, dishonest, rude, controlling, showing no empathy, whatever it is, because the mask always falls off. It may be hurtful to you for a minute, but it's actually a gift because then you know it's time to depart. I mean, that's the way I roll. I know there are other people in different situations. I mean, honestly, I'm trying to remember what Dr. Ramani says. Radical acceptance, of whom a person is. You got to follow your intuition. I mean, I feel like it's more beneficial in your life to be around people whom lift you up, encourage you, are accepting of who you are as a human without projecting onto you what they want you to be or do or whatever it is. Because conditional friendship or conditional relatives, coworkers, whatever it is, that's not, I was going to say that's not friendship, but it's not anything conditional is for their benefit, not yours. So it's better for you to learn that this is how it is than for you to continue on in your fantasy world wanting that perfect family or excuse me, perfect relationship, job, whatever it is. Then you have to grieve for what never was. So, trying to think. In physics, a space cannot stay devoid of anything for a long period of time. It has to be filled. I'm not a physicist, but I just know the basics. And I love physics. So, whatever that void is in your life, something or someone will come to fill that again. It's just how it is. I personally, in the last 5, 10 years, have been grateful when I find out a person's not whom I was hoping they were. And I don't put too many, how do I say it? I don't project too many things onto a person, expectations. But, you kind of get your hopes up. You think this person's cool. And then they do something pretty awful. And you're like, wow. I mean, I'm thinking to myself. That happened to me with two really, large, how do I say this? Because they're not influencers. Like large YouTube channels. Oh, what is it called? Like when you're a YouTuber. Like big YouTubers. One that I had personal interactions with. Another that I had a lot of internet interactions with. And later I learned both of these two individuals were not even remotely what I thought they were. And at the time, I mean, I've done a lot of work on myself. I've done some therapy. I don't know. Some therapists are good. I've never really had a really good therapist, except for once. Maybe twice. But I've done a lot of work on my own. And again, too, studied this narcissism for about, 12 years now, something like that. Toxicity, self-love, PTSD, symptomology of PTSD, dysregulation, healthy emotional regulation, and all these things, right? And I have a lot more to learn. But, and aside from the YouTuber people, I was just like, I'm just so glad that they showed me who they were. The one male YouTuber, I was particularly disappointed with him. The other one, I was not surprised because I was figuring that particular woman out. Evil. I believe she was a dark triad, 100%. And I was not going to try to prove that to anyone. I feel really strongly that one person, completely dark triad. And you don't want to be tangled up with those folks. But also, too, it comes in having standards. Having standards for yourself. In whom you're going to have in your life and whom you're not. And I don't think I've begged to have anyone in my life since I was probably, maybe late 20s, early 30s, possibly. You just learn. You got to grieve for what you never had. And I'm talking, in my case, I'm talking about family members. You just grieve for what never was. And it always works out in the end. And there are some people that come into your life and then you grow, or they go on, they do different things, and then you're doing different things, and you don't stay friends, or you lose touch. That's kind of a little different, but I've learned to follow my intuition. I was listening to Lisa Nichols a while ago, and I really liked what she was talking about. I don't remember what the words that she used, but she was just talking about, like, she realized there were just certain people in her life she couldn't have in her life anymore. And that happens. And I believe that happens because you have standards for yourself. And hopefully, if you care and love yourself enough, you're going to have high standards. Doesn't mean you have to be all by yourself all the time. I'm not all the way by myself all the time. And I mean, being by yourself sometimes is good. I mean, everyone's different. Everyone has a different way of being. And I'm very introverted, but I'm also extroverted as well. But when I want to go to my apartment and be a turtle and read my books, cook my meals, do my exercise, rest, whatever it is, that's what I enjoy. And another thing too, I think one of my other videos, you guys, I had talked about, you got to know what your values are. I think that helps me a lot as well, knowing what values are important to me. So, yeah, one day I'm going to explain to you guys what transpired in my life with an individual. But it's always good when they show you who they are, right? Always. Because people are good, and I'm just talking about across the board. A lot of people are very good at putting on a big show about certain things. And I think, in retrospect, I think it would be wiser for me to try to make friendships or acquaintanceships with people that are more like me. But I mean, I think it's cool when you can be friends with people that are not exactly the same as you, because I mean that makes you very dull and boring. But there's got to be certain things in your life that are anchors that stay the same, so there's not too much tumultuousness. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. Like, I'll just use a really easy one. If you don't like to drink alcohol, or maybe you just drink once in a while, you don't want to be around someone who's drinking all the time. That's just not going to work. Or you like to do more things at home. Excuse me. You like to craft, you like to make things, you enjoy being in nature, whatever it is. And another person wants to be out at the club or out at the bar every night of the week. That's not going to work. And I'm just using that as an example because it's easy to, find, show that how different that is and how it's not going to work. So I don't want this to be too long. Let's see, how long is this? Yeah. Man, I would have much rather not had this cold, you guys. It has wiped me out. So, I mean, honestly, it's that old-fashioned saying, birds of a feather flock together. But I would say one thing. If you see a person virtue signaling all the time, and just look deep into that, man, that's some bullshit. I don't want to be around anyone virtue signaling. It's one thing to care about other people and do good things for other people. But when every other thing out of a person's mouth is what they do for other people, or how virtuous they are, or we see it all the time in the news, or I don't want to just pick on politicians, but politicians, or, I mean, even just local people. Oh, look, we have to have an award ceremony, and sometimes people have good intentions. I'm not saying every single person. I personally feel like Michael Jackson was one of the biggest virtue signalers and a full-blown malignant narcissist, pedophile on the planet. A lot of people argue with me, but I always know, or when they look at me all weird, like, oh, not Michael. I know they haven't done any research. I don't go there. I just don't. So, I wonder what you guys think about all this. I mean, I've learned when I go with my intuition, everything always works out. I think also, too, when you have high standards for yourself, you're not going to tolerate any baloney from anybody. Whether it's a ride company, whether it's a job, workplace, coworker, boyfriend, so-called friend, whatever it is. You're just not. You're not doing it. I honestly think that's why I am a little more of a loner nowadays. But I absolutely love people as well. So, I mean, one little step at a time. I think that I will be grateful that I followed my intuition. Have an amazing night, everyone, or a day wherever you are. Peace.